Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Lunch. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am really excited for all of you who showed up today for our monthly networking meeting. So, here's the deal, guys. I know we do a lot of other kinds of shows and a lot of fun things during the week, every Monday, except for the third Monday, we're on Clubhouse at 12:30. Every Friday, we have our Ladies Power Lunch Friday party, and at 11:30 we have a show, and then at 1 o'clock we have another show. So there's always a ton of stuff going on. But the thing that brought us all together in the very first place was our Ladies Power Lunch monthly networking meetings. And that's when we get together and we do this thing that I call intentional networking. And that's when we get together with the aim and objective every single time to just see how can we support each other. And the hope for me is that you will leave the meeting with some more information than you did when you came in, but also with some more connections than you had when you came in. Does that feel fair for everybody? Feels right. So, usually, how we run is we spend about the first half hour of the meeting talking to each other, actually getting to know each other and knowing all the wonderful people that we have in the room that is Ladies Power Lunch. Because I don't very often go out on a limb and guarantee things, but I can probably guarantee that every single thing that you need to grow your business, every single thing that you need to grow your personal development, you can find it in the room that is Ladies Power Lunch. It's all there. There is somebody who can point you in the direction. There's somebody who can personally help you. There is somebody who can hold my hand through my tough times. There is always somebody there. And so feel free to post your questions, feel free to post about your business. It's just a group that's there for you, and you are the group that's there for you. So that's wonderful. The second part of the meeting, we usually invite somebody who's a superstar expert. Linda Albright is our guest today to come share with us about something that they're a superstar expert about. And we don't like to just sit around and listen to people talk at us. That is usually super boring and not at all educational, at least not for me. And so we usually invite our guests to do a little mini workshop to give us a taste of the transformation that we can have when we would work with them. And so I'm really looking forward with great anticipation to hanging out with Linda today. And she's going to tell us a lot more about herself as we go through today. So, everybody ready? Yeah, all right. I am going to invite you to do this. Can you pull out your cell phone? Awesome. After you've taken a picture of all the beautiful women who've joined us in the room, I'm going to invite you to go and pull up your app that is your web browser. And I want you to put in ladiespowerlunch.com. And then I want you to click on the About tab. And right in there, you can actually put your information in, and that way you get an email from me every month reminding you about this meeting. So you have the choice. You can subscribe or not. But I would suggest just putting it in so that you get a little reminder that this is happening so that you can have it on your calendar. Because who else gets busy? Just me? Okay, I knew it was just me, but you get busy, right? So a little reminder can't hurt. But one thing I will promise you is that I hate email and I hate spam. I'm not a hater, but I kind of do hate those things. And so I am never going to be the one to spam you. And if you feel like you're getting too much emails from me, if you unsubscribe, I will not in any way be offended. So don't worry about that either. All right. So I'm looking at our numbers and we have about 22 people. So what do you say we split it down the middle and we break out into two groups, and we're going to do a little bit of networking. We'll give each person, if we break out into two groups, now let's go into three groups. I'll give each person a little bit more time. So yeah, let's get into three groups and we will um Each person will have 2 minutes, and I'd love for you to use your 2 minutes to share with the rest of the group about these things. One, who are you and what is it that you do? Number two thing, what's the number one thing that you could really use some help with right now? And I mean, don't just go surface on this like, oh, I could use more clients. Because, okay, is there anybody here who needs no more clients aside from me? Only me? Okay, great. That's good to know. Not just surface like that, but suppose you want somebody to hop on a Facebook Live with you so you can promote yourself to their list, or you want somebody to show you how to do a particular thing like an email thing, or use a app in a certain way that's going to be able to help you grow your business. If there's something that you particularly need, something specific, I want you to ask for it, and there will be somebody in your room, I promise, who will be able to point you in the direction of getting the thing that you want. And then the third question that you're going to answer is, how can I support the group? What special gift and talent are you bringing that you could help somebody with just in case they need it? For me, it might not be helping you with your email because I'm not great at that, but it might be something else like helping you navigate ClickFunnels or something like that. It's not what I do, but it's something I know how to do. Anybody have any questions about the questions? Questions about questions? No one. Great, awesome. All right, so I'm going to put us in 3 rooms. And you guys have 20 minutes. Here we go. So just accept your invitation to join your room and remember your questions. Who am I? What do I do? What do I need help with? And how can I help? Awesome. 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 All righty. So, I am still, I will advise everybody, when you are going, Facebook has changed the way that they're doing they're allowing us to go from Zoom to Facebook. And so I guess I would say to you, before you before you go live on Facebook, just make sure that you're comfortable with all your Zoom settings, because we like to go live in our Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group, but they've kind of changed the way we do things. So good advice for us there. Always good for me to make the mistakes first, right? So we can all learn from them. Anybody thought that everybody felt like they had enough time for the networking? Anybody felt like it would have been too much time? Maybe. No? Okay. All right. Just checking, because, we can always change it. So that's always an option. Great. All right, ladies, thank you so much for taking part in the networking portion of our meeting. And now I would love to invite our speaker, Linda, to hop up on stage. And Linda is going to share with us who she is, and she's going to tell us a bit about all the wonderful things that she does in the world. And then she is going to share with us a wonderful workshop that I am looking forward to with great anticipation. Linda, thank you so much. Before you start, I want to tell everybody a little story about you. So, Linda, I met Linda through Big back in the day when I used to host the Big Pod. And it was interesting. I remember the first time I noticed Linda was one day we had a woman who was our speaker, and she came very highly recommended. And I thought she did a really good job being our speaker. And also, I thought, oh my goodness, in making comments and kind of helping us through the day, Linda was way more beneficial to us than our speaker. And I thought, I've got to get Linda on the roster to be a speaker. But then that never happened because I stopped being the pod leader for the Farmington Valley group. So it's the first time that I've actually ever gotten a chance to get Linda on our roster for Ladies Power Lunch, and I'm really excited about it. So really happy to have you today, Linda. Thank you for saying yes.
Thank you. What a wonderful introduction. I've never heard that story. So thank you. So how about if we just jump in, because I'm not interested in me. I'll just say I've been running a coaching and training company for the last 10 years. I'm a recovering business coach. So if anybody has any business issues, I used to help women make more money doing what they love. I've transitioned and pivoted into really helping women find their sweet spot, create their next best chapter. And we do it with a bunch of a variety of tools and processes. But what I want to share today is what I find so exciting is what is happening today that is, as you know, tectonic shifts in the world. And you are so well positioned to create your next best chapter, whether it's through business or your relationships or your health, whatever it is that's in your heart that you've always known you are here to experience in a bigger way. Now is the time. Many of us feel as though we've been waiting for this moment in history. I know I have. If you've always felt like things just aren't quite right in the world, but we try and sort of put round peg in a square hole and fit ourselves in there anyway, because that's what we were taught, and we didn't know the world was going to crack open in this most amazing way. So this is our time, ladies, and it is time for the divine feminine, as we say, or just women in general, to take our rightful place. Not that there's not a place for men and for the male way of doing things. Hallelujah, it has served us well. And it's time for the feminine to meet the masculine and take us into our next great chapter in our own lives and in the world. So this is such a magnificent time to be working with women and to be doing what you're doing, whether it's running a travel agency or a health and wellness company or a coaching company or some others. Whatever it is you're doing it from your divine right place. And now is the time to really go big as it feels you want to go. So that's just a little opener about why it's so exciting to be here with Ladies Powers Lunch. And I love this. I already love this group, even though I'm new to it, because I just got the vibe in the breakout room. So thank you, Dr. Davia. So here's what I want to teach. I call it gliding into the high frequency zone, because everything that we've been taught how to do is not going to help us moving forward. Hallelujah. Because what we've been taught to do is exhausting. It's work hard. And if that doesn't work, work harder and pull yourself up by your bootstraps and make it happen and knock on doors and, just keep going. And that's a very male archetype. That's a very 20th century way of going about creating what you want in your life. And it has worked. Most of us have had success in our lives using this philosophy or this, methodology. And it's so old school. And so the great news is that there's a new sheriff in town. There's a new way to do business and a new way to do life, which is far more feminine, easier, and more delightful. Now, as I get into this, your mind may say, she's out of her mind. Your mind may say, there is no way that this is the right way to move forward. And that's fair. And all I'm going to ask for you to do is just try it out. And most of you will have had experiences in your life where things did come to you in a more effortless way. And that's what I'm going to be talking about, is gliding into the high frequency zone where stuff really starts to happen. Some of you know that last month we ran an experiment. We called it the Miracle Zone Experiment, because I wanted to see what would happen if we gathered women, we had a couple men, together to just stay open to the good coming to them, if they just would open their hearts and watch their minds like a hawk and allow the good to come. And meanwhile, I called it myself and team magic, people on my team. We were holding space. We were energetically knowing for all of you that the flow was going to happen, that things were going to start popping. And this was just an experiment. And we did it for 2 weeks just to see what would happen if we tested what we preach, right? Which is stay in a high frequency zone, watch your mind and your thoughts and your feelings like a hawk, and just allow things to show up. And my goddess, you would not believe the results people got. It was like, I lost weight. I got 4 new clients. I resolved this issue. Some of the results were tangible and some of them were intangible, but they were phenomenal. And it proved to me that what I preach is actually true, even though I knew it was, but I just wanted some solid evidence. So in my own life, it has worked miraculously. And I'm going to tell you what this is in a minute, but I'm trying to appease your mind or any resistance you might have to this new way of going about building your life and your business. So in my own life, since I've been dedicated to this for about 9 months, because the old way just doesn't work for me anymore. It's too exhausting. You don't get this kind of results that you know you're capable of. So I said, well, I wonder what would happen if I actually practice what I'm preaching and just allowing and using a different muscle. And in that time, I have manifested things that I couldn't work hard to create. Things like a free beach house to use that rents at $11,000 a week, and I had to pay nothing for it. I manifested getting 3 children's colleges paid for. You heard that correctly. I have 3 children, 2 in college now, 1 on the way, and I manifested somebody swooping in as a benefactor and paying for their colleges. I have manifested the home I'm currently in as a temporary home because I'm kind of in transition. I should not have been given this home. There were investment bankers and people with, fat 401ks in line ahead of me. And I landed this house because it was just meant to be. And it was because I just believed and I opened up to it. And on and on and on. I have examples of things that have come to me in I guess you could say a law of attraction kind of way, but it goes even deeper than that. And I'll get into that. So as we lean into this in the time that I have, I would like for you to think of maybe 2 things. One is, what is it that you want, that you really want, that you know you're capable of creating or having, but you just haven't yet. So I want you to kind of latch onto that. And at the same time, I want you to get in touch with something that you find difficult, either around that issue. So let's say you want to manifest something in your business and you really, really know in your heart you want fill in the blank, but there's something that's stopping you. So, and you can kind of feel that, but it's like the yeah buts in your head. So I want you to kind of bring those close because we're going to play with these later after I lay out a couple of, not rules, but guidelines that we're going to play with. Because my goal is that I'm not just talking, as Dr. Davia mentioned, I'm not just talking, that we actually pop an octave for you. We move the dial a little bit for you on whatever this is that you want and whatever it is that you think is stopping you. And let's see if we can kind of just wiggle it a little bit. So let's talk about the new paradigm first, and then we'll talk about why it's so hard to do. And then we'll play with it a little bit. The new paradigm that I've been referring to, it really boils down to 3 words. Things are meant to be simple, fun, and easy. Simple, fun, and easy. And I know that sounds crazy, especially to someone like me who was raised in this culture of work hard, the harder you work, the better you are, and on and on and on. It's like that paradigm I talked about before. But I'm here to tell you that is old, and simple, fun, and easy is the new. Let's break this down. What do I mean by simple? Well, we know what complex is. So if you're looking at that thing that you want and it's starting to get confusing or really intricate or heavy, it's time to back off. because you are not meant to be entangled in Gordian knots of difficult, hard, confusing. You're meant to have a high vibe state of, oh, that's really clear and simple. And if it's not, guess what? You're going to take your foot off the gas pedal because it's not meant to just go at it. You're meant to back off because there's other resource and other ideas that want to land so that you can then get where you want to go. So simple is actually a hard one to follow. But in my own life, whenever, for example, I'm working on a marketing situation in the business, if I start to get to where it gets hard or too complicated, if it's I'm writing marketing copy or I'm trying to figure out 1 + 1 is 2, and I get into that space, and you can usually feel it in your head. It's just like, I got to figure this out. I will stop and drop right there because I know that my answers will not arrive if I'm chewing on something. So simple is rule number 1. Fun, like in my upbringing, fun was for not serious people. Fun was what you do when you're done working. You know, I'm a New England WASP. And so I was raised, I mean, if any of you have that puritanical background, you know that fun is really only like, you know, after all the work is done. And really, in my upbringing, the work is never done. So you never really have a lot of fun. And if you do, you feel kind of bad about it. You feel kind of guilty about it. Well, the new paradigm is all about what feels good, because you all know the law of attraction is about your vibration. So if you're not having fun, however that looks for you, your vibration is killing off all the good stuff that wants to float down that highway right towards you. So I honestly don't even get out of bed in the morning until I feel good. Because we now know everything is energy. And so, like I said, you're vibing at a certain energy level, and what you focus on increases, and who you are is what you attract. So the most important thing you can do is make sure that you feel good. Now, I know that's not always easy, and we'll talk about how to handle the stuff that doesn't feel good, but it is job number 1 to feel good. And fun is one of the best ways to do that. So, for example, Christy is doing a self-care retreat that some of you haven't heard about. That sounds like a blast. That sounds like a way to really amp up your vibration so that the universe, which only and always says yes, responds in kind. What do I mean that the universe only and always says yes? It's not it doesn't judge you. It's like if you say you're having a bad day, it says, yeah, I'm having a bad day. If you say everything is working for my good, the universe says everything is working for her good. Now the mind will jump in there and the emotions will jump in there and will crash the party. Talk about that in a minute. But the natural order of things, the way the universe works, is it says yes to whatever you're feeling. So rule number 1, don't get out of bed until you feel good. I will sometimes lie there and I'll do an inventory. Like, how am I feeling? And what don't I want to bring into my day? Because when I get out of bed, it's coming with me. You know what I mean? So that's simple, that's fun, and easy. So I had the most incredible lesson in this, and a lot of you know, and there's chats going on, which I'm not going to read, but a lot of you know that I was in a relationship for the previous 5 years until last fall. And my mentor, who has taught me the simple, fun, easy rule, in retrospect said to me, because he worked with me and he worked with my partner and he worked with both of us for quite a while. He said, that was the most difficult relationship I have ever seen. I'm like, really? I said, because I've been taught that like you really have to work hard at relationships. And he said, well, you have to work things out, but at the baseline, it shouldn't be that difficult. I'm like, wow. And so, so in practicing the simple, fun, easy rule, some of you will will or won't be surprised to know that I have attracted the most delightful human being who happens to be a man who I'm not in a serious relationship with, because I think that would be nuts right now. But like, wow, simple, fun, and easy. Look at that. Who knew that that was possible? Because when you're walking around with an idea that has to be difficult, that's what you get. So easy, look for ease. And when things are not simple, fun, or easy, you stop and you drop and you shift and you do a pattern interrupt, you do a state change, whatever you need to do. Don't keep barreling down that highway, because we want to pop you out. I want to take a breath and see if there's anything I need to know. Yes. Okay. Yeah, simple, fun, and easy. Your state determines your fate. That's another fun one that was passed down to me. Your state determines your fate. So I always say the good news, bad news is that you have dominion over your life and your experience, that whatever's going on in here is what you're going to experience out here. So that's great news. And it's like, well, you also have the responsibility to change things up. I want to make a disclaimer that when I say simple, fun, and easy, it doesn't mean that there aren't some things that you work at. Doesn't mean you're sitting eating bonbons and just waiting for stuff to show up. For example, I am a practitioner of yoga, as many of you know, and I love this crazy kind of yoga called Bikram yoga, which is a room that's heated to 105 degrees. And the poses are the types of poses that my body doesn't really naturally like. And it's hard, like it's challenging. And so, but it's hard and challenging in a, ooh, I'm turned on kind of way. Like, ooh, that feels good to push my body in ways that I wouldn't otherwise. So I want to make that disclaimer that doesn't just mean you put your feet up and stare at your navel. It means that you're very carefully choosing the things you're very carefully choosing things that make you feel good and make you thrive and grow. And this is also like the graduate level version of Think Happy Thoughts. Think Happy Thoughts is a great start, but the high frequency zone and popping an octave energetically is even beyond that. It's a whole, like if you can feel me, it's like a whole body knowing. It's not tricking your mind in affirmations, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's a great start, but it's a whole body understanding and connection to the way things work, which is what I've described up to this point. So let's shift to, I'm just making sure I'm covering all this stuff. Let's shift to actually mapping this to your world, since I've been chatting at you for 20 minutes now. Thank you, just looking at the chats there. And what I find prevents me from living in that high vibe state all the time, which is my goal, are these drunken sailors, I call them. Some of you know I'm familiar with drunken sailors, called the mind and the emotions. So like, why don't we live in this, oh my gosh, I have so much energy, I feel so good state all the time? It's either conditioning, it's patterning, it's life in 21st century COVID era, it's cranky family members, it's bodies that hurt, whatever it is, there's a lot that gets in the way of us living on that highway. So the first is the mind, the second are the emotions. And as I said, what amazes me, and I'm not sure I will ever understand why we human beings were crafted this way, but we are, where there's so much trash in mind and emotions going on, we can't access the highway we're supposed to be on. So let's pull out a couple of tools that I hope will help you pop an octave for whatever it is that's, I don't want to say ailing you, but preventing you from living in that high vibe state. And it's, by the way, this is a practice. This is a lifetime watchfulness. So much of what we do is unconscious. And so if you just from today got more aware of what's going on in here and what's going on in here, then you're halfway home. One of my mentors years ago said awareness is curative. So once you see it, you can, it's like halfway handled. So if you just became ninja-like in catching what's going on in the mind and in the body, then, I mean, if you don't catch it, you can't change it, right? So, but if that's all you did without a fancy tool or remembering how to do anything, then you've already moved the dial, because how you feel is the most important thing there is, which again goes against my training completely. My upbringing was feelings don't matter, figure it out in your head, keep going. And I had wonderful family, I had wonderful parents, but the conditioning was so 20th century. Maybe it worked back then, but for where we are now, it's all about lining up mind, body, spirit, feelings. So, call to mind and in your heart the thing that I invited you to think about, which is either, well, what I'd like you to do is call up the thing that you want and the thing that's blocking you. Or if you prefer, you can just use something that's bothering you right now. It could be anything, like related to your vision and your dreams, or just something that happened this morning that really bothers you. Like I was surprised last week, one of my team members said something and it really like triggered me. And I'm like, whoa, I love this team member. What she said was completely fine, but it really activated me. And so, wow, you know, so it could be something like that. And I didn't need to talk to her about it. It was my own stuff going on. And I don't even, here's the thing. It doesn't even matter why I was triggered. It doesn't matter what it was about. This is the trap of our culture, is we try and figure stuff out. We perseverate and obsess, and we feel like we need to understand every single thing that's blocking us, or why and what happened to me when I was 5. And that's okay, except time, it takes a lot of time to do that. And you don't actually need to. What you need to do is get unhooked. You just need some tools that are going to free you so you can get on that zone, glide into that high frequency highway and keep moving, because you have some really fabulous work to do, right? And I'm not discounting the value of therapy or self-understanding. And I have done a ton of all of that. And what I also want to share is you don't always have to go down those routes. You can just get yourself unhooked quickly so you can keep moving. So bring to mind that thing that is bothering you. And if you want to put it in the chat, I'm a generator. Most of you know human design. I'd love to kind of respond here. If you want to share with what is your issue that you would love to get unhooked from, or de-triggered, or defang the triggers, because let's make this really useful. And let me just take a pause here. Take a glance. Right, you're not 5 anymore. Okay. Nobody wants to share what they want to unhook from? It's fine if you don't. It's good. It maybe it means you're like really getting into the big juicy things. Other people's stress. Oh, great, Janora, you want to share? Great. Go ahead and just type that in. Awesome. Reliance on food. Thank you. Very vulnerable shares. Appreciate that. So I'm just seeing if anything else wants to come through. Ha, family drama. Oh, that's a good one. Yep. So we all know these, whether it's self-judgment. Yep. Thank you. Saying yes when you heard no. Thank you. So ignore it. So whether it's self-judgment or you ignore your inner voice, I'm really good at that one. Or people are activating you. Or you're working around people whose toxicity is getting to you. Fantastic. Okay. So grab onto that. Let's try 3 different tools. Now, understand that different things work for different people. So I'm going to pull out 3 and we'll just give it a go. Okay. So first, so everybody just take a breath, and I want you to get into that feeling state of either being annoyed or overwhelmed or whatever that feeling is, or maybe it's the the hamster wheel in the head that just won't stop with the those types where I should have said, I could have said, let me replay the conversation, and on and on and on. Just, I want you in that state because I want you to feel the freedom. I want you to bust out of that. I want to get you back on that highway. All right. So grab onto that annoyance or that upset. And first, float up. I want you to just, you all know how to visualize. I want you to visualize that you're on that situation is on the stage in front of you, right? And you're up here. Or that scenario is on the movie screen and you're in the audience. Because what happens is we forget. We actually think that we're that person or that actor or that other person is actually, and none of that is real. It's all, I don't want to say made up. It's all a choice. How we interpret, how we experience, what we see, what we feel is a choice. It might be a conditioned response, but you're bigger than that. So float above or sit in the audience and watch. Just watch. See if you can get some space. Where we get stuck is we collapse that space and we think that everything we're experiencing is real. We think that that's who we really are, but you're bigger than your experience, you're bigger than your thoughts, you're bigger than your feelings. You're bigger than all of that. You've just been conditioned to be put in a tiny little box with those people in there. So that's just a simple stop, drop, and breathe and look. And that's it. That's just the first step. Thank you. Detachment. Right. Objectivity. And now I know that's hard to do when you're triggered, but in some situations, you're able to do that. And especially those situations, has anybody had a situation that just keeps repeating and keeps repeating, keeps repeating? Am I the only one? Like, oh, there it is again. There it is. There it is again. Maybe in our calm moments, we can get curious, which is helpful if you pop up or sit back and just go, I wonder what that's trying to teach me. I wonder what's in there for me. Because every time I allow myself to get hooked, I get knocked down from that high vibe state where all my good is up here. My effortless, simple, fun, and easy is up here, but I'm vibing down here because I'm in the fray. And I haven't learned or I haven't let go enough to pop back up where I belong. So that's just the first one. Then there's two other tools that we'll try. So grab onto that thing that's got you. And let's try an in the moment tool, because sometimes you just can't pop out and like be the objective, observer, be in the audience. It's like, no, I'm like this, like that really upsets me. And she did this and I can't believe that. Or you're self judging and criticizing, and you just can't get out of that trap. In that case, again, this takes some practice because we're not used to having dominion and sovereignty over our thoughts and our feelings. We're used to letting them run the show. But let's try this next one. When you're really caught in something, sort of emotionally, there's a tool called releasing fixed attention. And it's a little bit heady, but it works. So this is how it would unfold. And I could do it with someone, but maybe I'll just explain it first. And then if anybody's really riled up about something, maybe at the end, we can actually demo these tools, but I want to get through them first. So the concept is you want to honor what you feel. So spiritual bypass is dangerous. As you know, spiritual bypass is ignoring the important feelings that you're having. Any feeling you're having is rocket fuel. It's life force energy. The challenge is we've never been taught how to transmute the areas that are difficult into a higher vibe state. So sometimes that's what's a challenge with affirmations. If we're really feeling kind of crappy about ourselves, but we're going to like paste spiritual bypass over it, that's why it doesn't work. It's because we're still stuck. So We want to honor. You can't heal it till you feel it, but you don't want to pitch a tent there either, right? So this tool goes like this: releasing fixed attention. We're so fixed on something that we can't see straight. We can't allow anything else in. So what you want to do is you want to honor where you're at, and then in a flash, shift your attention and focus on something else. And then you go back to what you're feeling and honor that. And then you switch your attention. So you go back and forth so that you become masterful at having dominion over how you use your life force energy. So for example, I'll use my team member situation. This is how it would roll out. I would, just to myself or to a partner, I would describe in really good detail how upset I was. I can't believe that she said that, and I can't believe she left that over a voice memo. She didn't wait until we spoke about it. I can't believe that she even thought that that was an issue. How could you? Da, 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 da. And I would go on and on and on until I kind of reached a natural point. And sometimes that might take a while if you're really fired up. And then I'm going to pause. And then I'm going to focus on something in the room, and I'm just going to describe it. That's all I'm going to do. So I would look at the flowers, and I would say to myself, wow, okay, so there's a dozen white roses that are dying, and I'm just going to describe it, no editorializing. And they have some yellow leaves and some wilted leaves, and the water in the vase is kind of murky, and it's a very nice glass vase, and the petals are open and they're white. And I would go on and on and on until I sort of was done describing that. So you can see it's very unemotional. It's just very descriptive. And then I would go back to my story. You know, it really bothers me that she left it on a voice memo, and that I just don't understand why it was even an issue in the first place. I feel a little, not appreciated for everything that's happened. And can you see I'm kind of running out of things to say about this? And then I would shift to something else in my environment. I'd look at my speaker, say, all right, well, it's this blue speaker with a handle that's turquoise, and it's got a little round knob on it, and it's got the little speaker things on top, and it fits in the palm of my hand. It's got Sony written on it, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I come back. So I'm alternating between the emotion and the experience and neutralized observation. The emotion and experience, neutralized observation. And I guarantee you what will happen is you'll take the fire out of that whole situation. But you do it as long as you need to until you find your peace and poise, because you want your peace and poise. Whenever you give that up, you're giving up the good. It's as simple as that. So it's like you got to be ninja about maintaining your peace and poise. And when something pulls you off track, you use a tool to get back to it. So that's a little bit of I don't know if it's a good one to demonstrate without a subject, but like I said, I can play with somebody in a few minutes because time's wrapping up here. But that's called releasing fixed attention, because you're so hooked, your tension, your emotion is so hooked on something, you want to just get some space. Okay. And the last, thank you, Davia. The last tool that we'll use is very simple, and it's an edited, shortened version. By the way, we teach about 7 extensive tools in our Miracle Zone program. It's a 5-month journey. So I'm giving you just like a really quick taste of 2 of them that we do, because the whole program is about freeing people from all of the stuff that holds us back, because your natural state is to enjoy and to manifest and to have more abundance than you could possibly imagine. So this next one is when you're really in an upset, an emotional upset. Yes, thank you. And I mean, all of them are really when you have an emotional upset, but I find this one is not as heady. Like that releasing fixed attention is kind of heady. Like I got to think and I got to talk, and and sometimes you just don't have that ability to step through something like that. So the edited version of this, it's called the method. The edited version goes like this. Again, feel it to heal it. I would never, ever want you to not feel what you're feeling. But the problem is we pitch a tent there, as I said before, and then we don't ever get beyond that. So feel what you're feeling, feel the upset. And then the edited version of this is to shroud yourself in love. and to feel what it feels like to love yourself, which some of us have a really hard time doing for whatever reason. So I'll give another example because my team member example is in the past, and I've already used that one. So most of you know I had a really surprise breakup in the fall. Didn't know it was coming. Thought he was the love of my life. Thought it was a till death do you part thing. Found out it wasn't. Ow. I see the gift in it now, and I wouldn't talk about it if I wasn't completely like at peace with it now. Thank you, Dee. And so this really helped me in that whole process. So I felt, this is how it unfolds, the deep, deep sorrow. And I had also lost my father 6 weeks before my relationship blew up. So I lost the two most important men in my life within 2 months. Yippee. So I'm never teaching anything that I unless I know it works. So feel the deep feeling. So I felt the deep, deep grief, the deep surprise. My entire plan just imploded. And I know better than to paper over that and just to think happy thoughts. You got to feel it to heal it. So I did. And then, as much as you can, after you're done feeling, you might be weeping, you might be angry, you might be feeling depressed. Feel it fully in your body, and then harness the feeling, not the thought, of love. And if you can't feel love for yourself, then try and just access the feeling of love. For some of you, it might be the feeling about loving a pet, or the love we feel for our children. Or for some of us, you can see your own inner child and sort of love on her. I do that a lot. Like I'll see the little Linda in the room whose heart was broken, who blah, 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 and just swoop in and hold her in my arms. And you would be amazed at the transmutational power of that, because what you're doing is you're honoring the tough stuff, but you're overpowering it with the infinite power of love. So try that one on. And none of these are a one and done. And none of these are, you're never done doing the work, right? There's always another layer in life. And I can tell you that as you become more masterful with this stuff, as you become more proficient with this stuff, falling off the horse is going to happen, but you're not going to stay on the ground as long as you once would. It just gets easier and easier and easier to stay in that high vibe state, which is where the magic happens. It's where the fun resides, and it's where you completely belong. So let me wrap it up by reviewing the 3 simple tools that are simple, but they take practice. And if you're not used to dancing in these fields, then just give yourself, some time it's like going to the gym and working the muscles. So just to recap, you're meant to be in the high vibe state. You're meant to be in that high frequency zone. That's where the party is. So we want to get there as fast as we can, which means we have to handle the mind and the emotions. And the 3 of the quick tools that I gave you, one is to put your life, your story, the situation on the projection screen, or float above it and watch all the little drama playing out. Like my drama last fall, oh, for heaven's sakes, that's like worthy of an Academy Award winning for worst drama of the century. But I can see that. And I was like, wow, that was really something. There's such freedom in getting an objective viewpoint to your drama. The second is just trying that releasing fixed attention exercise, where you honor what you're feeling and you talk about it, and then you switch and you talk about something objective, and you go back and forth until the energy has loosened up, because energy gets coagulated, and that's what's keeping your vibration down. And the third one was feel deeply what you feel, and then counter it with the essence of love. And in that, you'll transmute that stuck spot. Might just be a little bit, because it might be a real bad ouchie, like mine was. Took a lot of time, took the time it took, but using the tools, I am now in a more powerful and excited place than I have ever been, having been through the worst phase in my life. So I know these things work. All right. So we're just about up against time, and I'm happy to take questions, or I'm happy to work with anybody on any of these. If you're, especially if for some reason you feel a little stuck, like as Dee knows, Dee, who's been in my program, sometimes I crack things open and then you're like left there like, wait, you just cracked this open. What do I do? So please private message me if I've cracked something open and you need a little extra support. I'm more than happy to hop on the line with you today to help you on that. Thank you, Christy. But does anybody have any questions or a situation you would like support with as we wrap it up here? Oh, and I have a little something for you as well. An audio that Dr. Davia, is it okay if I post that in the chat to support you moving forward? Hang on, let's see if I can type and walk and chew gum. There is a link to a free audio that talks about this and offers a couple extra tools, 30 minutes in and out. And we created it for you all today, because this takes practice. Like what I'm talking about probably really resonates. You're like, yeah, I want that. And then we go back to the way we were raised, and then we go back to our habits and patterns. So go gentle with yourself. These are new muscles that you're building. Okay.
I have a situation.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Bridget.
Thank you, Bridget.
I am currently in the process of looking for a house in the world's toughest market.
Yeah.
The market is just insane, and while I've only been at it for like a month, it just gets super frustrating because I see a lot of places that if I just had to move, I'd take and not be happy with, but I don't want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for something that's just like a place to live.
Yeah.
And I've put in a couple of different bids on places that I didn't get. And so I don't really know what my question is, but I guess it's I've been trying to take the mindset of, well, that wasn't my house, right? If I don't get it, or if I can't afford it, or, whatever it is. But it's tough. I actually just posted on one of my Facebook groups, like sort of a list of what I have in my mind. And I literally drew a sketch.
Oh, good. Yeah.
That's actually based on one of the houses I didn't get, but that was what was so frustrating. It was so perfect for me in so many different ways with respect to location and size and amount of storage and space and everything else. So again, I don't know.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is such a perfect example because everybody can relate to that. Thank you for being so honest about this. So two things pop in my mind. One is just really do an inventory. Is there any resistance to actually getting what you want? Whether it's worthiness or fear over money, or like, is there any, what's clogging up the wheels? And there may not be.
It's a little bit with money because the market is driving so much higher that I am going to have to borrow from my retirement account. And so that's extra money to pay back.
So that's perfect. So you've already set up like a tension with what you want with the universe or with the way things work. It's like, I do want this but I do. So you just have a little cleaning up to do to get really clear and really clean that, yes, that I'm totally in alignment with what I want. And then there's 4 simple words to add to anything you ever want, which is this or something better. This or something better, right? So, and then your job is to be ninja about staying positive, staying clean, and just allowing it to come in whatever form it wants. And we've all had examples where something better did show up. My daughter was so set to go to Hawaii this summer to work on an animal sanctuary. It was like her perfect dream position, and she would go and work for free. And she was so disappointed that she didn't get it for a host of reasons. And then something else showed up in Hawaii that has her not working as hard, and she has more free time, so this or something better. And when you find yourself gripping really, really tightly, it's just a sign to back off. Our foot's on the pedal too much. But we can all relate, Bridget. Absolutely. Is there anything else you want to follow up by saying? I just wanted to offer those tips.
Well, it's a little bit of a catch-22 with the added money, because I do have the belief that when you move into a situation where you have to spend more money, right? So you move into a bigger house or a bigger apartment, the universe will match that, like more money will come. But you're also crazy to not have a little bit of a, wait a minute, right? Because given what and of course, it's a little, the challenge of business being down during the pandemic and everything else, even though business has picked up considerably. So anyway, that's just where I am in the process. I even have some packed boxes. Like I started pulling books off of shelves, and I picked up some boxes at the local liquor store.
It sounds like you got one foot in both worlds, which is normal. You got the boxes and you're doing the manifestation thing, but you still got the, so I would just say to keep clearing the lanes, and whatever that tension is, get right with it from an energetic, emotional standpoint. You can talk yourself into, this is a problem with the head. Like you can talk yourself into the money, but your body needs to be okay with the money. So I would just keep playing with that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And thanks to Janora for leaving the message.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Yeah. Oh, look, Judy's still in her house, waiting for a buyer. So, okay. I think I'm kind of up against time, because I know we want to do a closing thing, right, Dr. Davia? Is that right?
Yeah, but Christy had her hand up.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, it's kind of related to what Bridget just put out. And I know from the seeds you planted, for me, simple, easy, fun is like life-changing. My question is, because I love your insights, Linda, is why is simple, fun, easy? Like we're talking about clearing, but the simple, fun, easy, why does it work? Like, I know that's a whole other class, but like, why does it work?
Because, no, thank you. It's a really good question, because we were not put here to struggle. We were not put here for pain. We were put here to be joyful beings. So anything so simple, fun, and easy is just a catchphrase for enjoying the glory of being alive, right? That's my take on it.
Thank you.
We were conditioned otherwise, but that's our natural state. That seems like a good note to end on, right?
Seems like a good note to end on. Thank you so much, Linda. I was taking copious notes over here while you were speaking. Also, I was chatting with the ladies who joined us over on Facebook as well. So yes, I did finally figure out how to get over to Facebook, so that worked out. So many thanks for joining today and just sharing your brilliance. I think there is so much value, and I can think of like 500 different things that I can use these tips and tools on. I would invite you, and all of you who are on the call today, if it feels right, to just continue this conversation over in our Facebook group, and to really see if maybe we can get some more clearing of some of the things that might be the holdups for us. Because I promise you, if we can get past those little things I know somebody calls them like our linchpin. If we can get past those little things that are our holdups, and we get past it, it's like a whole new world opens up for you on the other side of that. And things like your kids' tuition getting paid off happens, and things like getting a beach house happens, and also living Linda Albright's life happens. Those are the things that happen for you. So I'm so grateful, Linda, for you sharing this time with us today. Before we go, I just want to mention three things. One, we meet here third Monday every single month at 12:30. If you have a chance, just mark your calendar right now and plan to be here, because it's always going to be something that's going to be beneficial for you and for your business. Next month, we have Robin Finney. You guys remember her? She was our keynote on our Ladies Power Lunch Summit last spring, and she was also speaker on our fall summit and our spring summit this year. So she's going to be talking about authenticity and how authenticity actually can help us grow our businesses. So that's going to be amazing. Looking forward to that, and I hope you all can join us for that as well. Ladies Power Lunch has a couple of things going on. I'm going to invite Elizabeth to just unmute and share with us what she has going on right now with Ladies Power Lunch. Go, Elizabeth.
Yes, hi. So we have the Be the Beacon is the collaborative book project that's coming up next, and we're taking author applications until the end of this month. I'm also partnering with Dr. Davia and Akanke to bring about visibility circles, and Jim Williams as well. So we're weaving together publishing a book, stepping up our speaking with Akanke, and having podcasts with Jim Williams to help people really lift up their visibility in the world. So that's a very exciting project too.
And Akanke, I don't know if you wanted to unmute and just share about a little bit about your portion of the Visibility Circle project and anything you want to talk about that.
Yeah. So it's important for us to really get our voices heard, regardless of whether or not we feel we're ready to do it. Because if you know you've got a message that is not, it's really not about you, it's about serving. And so it's important to get out there and be seen authentically so that you can help the people that are waiting for you. And so my portion is to help you to find your authentic voice, to share it, and attract the people who are ready to be served by your message. And so that's what I do. And I'm excited to work with Elizabeth and Jim, and thank Dr. Davia for the vision for it. And it's exciting because, as Elizabeth said, it's about helping you raise your visibility so that people can see you. We want to get you raised up and seen beautifully, authentically.
Awesome. And Elizabeth, you want to just say a little bit more about what your portion of that program looks like?
Yeah, we take your book, which you might just have a little sparkle of an idea of. It might be just a little shining light for you. And we help you make it into a book, and we launch it to bestseller status. We help you establish yourself as an author on the web. Or you might have also written other things, right? You might have blogs to pull from. You might have articles that you've written. You might have started a book, but then gotten stuck. And we can actually take all of that and help give you guidance on how to pull it together to a cohesive book that aligns with what you want to get out into the world as well.
And Jim isn't here to share with us, but somebody who knows him might be here. Is Jamie here? Jamie, can I put this?
Hello, yes, I am here.
Put you on the spot.
Yes, so Jim is here to help you flesh out your ideas for your podcast. He will make you sound amazing. Kanki's going to start doing that, and then Jim will carry that forward and get you out there on the various platforms and get you all set up and ready to go so that you're confident in what you're putting out and everyone can receive your message.
Awesome. I'm excited for this project. It is, somebody suggested to me that we shouldn't call it a beta test because every single portion of this program has already been proven. These are experts in their fields, and they're just coming together to make this project available for Ladies Power Lunch members. So it's not a beta test, but what it is, it's a special small group. And so we're only, unfortunately, just because we want to be able to spend so much time with each person, we're only able to accommodate a very small amount of people into this project. But it's not for everybody. It's for the people who have that message that they want to get out there, and they feel like getting more visible is their ticket to that. And so the invitation is open if anybody wants to talk about it more. I'm putting a link in the chat, and that links directly at some point to my, you have to click through a whole lot of hoops, but eventually you get to my calendar. And once you get there, I invite you to schedule with me. We can talk about it. We can talk about what's going on with you, and if visibility is a good fit for you, I'll definitely point you towards these wonderful women. If it's not and it's something else, we can put something out to the group and see if we can find a solution for you there as well. Because I only have one intention with everything that I do with Ladies Power Lunch, and that is for us to intentionally support each other. So with that in mind, I want to say thanks to everybody for joining us today. I want to suggest that we continue the conversation over on Ladies Power Lunch. I want to say thank you to Linda for joining. Thanks to everybody who participated. And I invite you to come on back next month, and we'll see you on the next show. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.